Welcome to Success Factors. I'm your host, Brenda Siri. I'm joined today by Sheri Mathis. She is the founder and president of Mammogram Poster Girls. Welcome to the show, Sheri.
Thank you. Thank you, Brenda, for having me.
Absolutely my pleasure. You have such a unique name for your nonprofit organization, and we're going to talk about that. Um, I would like to start by understanding your passion, for founding Mammogram
Mammogram.
Poster Girls and how you came up with such a unique name.
So, I am a two-time breast cancer survivor, both times found early, um, contained, and found via my mammogram. I am one of four sisters, all of whom have had breast cancer. No gene, no family history, and also my sisters were diagnosed via mammogram. So, I nicknamed us Poster Girls for mammograms. And that's kind of how the name came about. But what I found when I was going through treatment, you're sitting and you're waiting for your radiation or your chemotherapy, and you're talking to the other patients and hearing their stories about how they got there and what stages they were in. And too many of them had waited to get their mammogram either because they didn't know to or they couldn't afford it. And it just broke me. That shouldn't happen. We should all be aware, number one, that early detection can save your life, and number two, that you have that annual mammogram and that you can have access to that annual mammogram. And so I started raising money for mammograms.
Wow, fantastic. So, how old were you when you had your first mammogram, and what was the time frame from first mammogram to diagnosis
To
of breast
diagnosis.
cancer?
I was diagnosed in 2007 at the age of 46, which is on the young end
Yes.
for breast cancer. I always did my mammogram right around my birthday. So I did my screening mammogram. I got a call back. They wanted to look at it again. They wanted to do a biopsy. That was done uh, basically a week after the screening mammogram, so it was very quick, which led to the diagnosis. A phone call was what I got, saying you have breast cancer. And then they said you'll at that point it was interesting because they didn't have nurse navigators to lead you through the process. They basically just said you have breast cancer, you need to find a doctor,
Oh, wow.
and kind of dumped you out the door. So my middle sister had gone through breast cancer the year before me, and so she was able to kind of be my navigator. Um, Went to the surgeon basically 2 or 3 weeks after that, had a a lumpectomy in April, and then, in June and July, I had radiation, and I finished my radiation on July 3rd, so July 4th that year was really my Independence Day.
Oh, sure was.
Yeah.
Wow. So, at what age does an insurance company cover the cost of a screening mammogram for a woman?
The CDC recommends starting at age 40. Having annual screening mammograms. If you have a family history, like in my family, I have two daughters. My doctor said your daughters need to begin having screenings 12 years before the age you were first diagnosed.
Mm,
So in their 30s.
okay.
It will be covered. You have to advocate for yourself if you're younger. If you're 40 and experiencing any symptoms or have a lump, screening mammograms just automatic. You can go in, your insurance covers it. But we live in Texas where we have the largest population of uninsured women in the country.
Do we?
We
Wow.
do.
That's interesting.
Winning.
Wow.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah, that's surprising. I have a friend who's in her 30s who was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. And so I was just curious to know, because she's under the age of 40, would insurance cover those diagnostic costs?
So insurance is very interesting. And depending on what you have and how large your copay or your deductible is, the diagnostic processes and procedures may or may not be covered.
Okay,
It,
that's
it
okay. We
may
can
or
say
may
no.
not, fall under the deductible. You may have to satisfy that before they cover the diagnostic procedures. And so the Mammogram Poster Girls also have programs to cover that kind of thing where if you can't pay out of pocket or if you need help with your deductible, we will help with that as well.
Wow. And
Over 40 and under 40.
that's great. And that's what I was going to ask is really specifically,
Mhm.
what does Mammogram Poster Girls do?
We do. So we have our largest programs cover women who are 40 or over for screening mammograms because that's the most important thing. Not the age part, but having screening mammograms. But we also, because I have a dear friend who died of breast cancer in her 30s because she waited and did not know to advocate for herself. She died of breast cancer. So we have a program for women under 30. Now, here's one more interesting thing. 30 to 40-year-old women have mammograms. Typically, if you're under 30, it's a sonogram or an MRI, which we also cover. So we cover screenings, we cover diagnostic procedures. We will take a patient through diagnosis. And then there are other organizations who have more resources than we do, who can help them go beyond that.
And I would assume that what we're really talking about is women who do not have health
Health
insurance, right? That's
insurance.
who you're supporting.
For the most part,
Okay.
I mean, that's our biggest push. That's our biggest goal is if you don't have insurance and you need a screening mammogram, we're going to get you in. But also insured women, we provide programs that remove the barrier of transportation. So we'll partner with a mobile mammography unit and take it into an area where people may or may not, they might have insurance, but they may not have transportation to get somewhere to get a screening mammogram. So we'll pay for it. We'll make it easier for you to get there. Anything that we can do to remove a barrier to access, we're going to try and do.
Are there limitations when you're talking about taking a mobile mammogram somewhere? Do you have to be tied to a hospital so that if anything's found, they can go get help?
Typically, depending on with which mobile mammography unit we use, we typically partner with Methodist Health System or Parkland Health. If they're diagnosed or need to be seen beyond that screening mammogram on the bus, they will go back to one of those system hospitals. Now, the great thing, Methodist has hospitals all over the
Right.
Metroplex. Parkland, you have to be a county, live in the county, but they also have a few other options, not just the big Parkland Hospital, where you can be seen for other diagnostic procedures.
Aside from the mammography services that you offer, what else do you do to help these women?
To help these women, we do some education events where we set up and just talk to people who come through saying, you do know that if you're 40, you need to start having your screening mammograms. Um, we do a few very select events with younger women. When I started raising money for mammograms, my oldest was in high school, and we did events around the volleyball team because those young women need to know their bodies. They need to know what they're looking for. They need to check themselves and know that if there's something weird, they can have something done about it, but also at, encourage their mothers and know themselves that at 40, they need to go start doing screening mammograms. So education, transportation, funding is basically what we do.
That's amazing. I mean, it's
Thank you.
wonderful. Absolutely. What areas of North Texas do you serve?
We go anywhere basically south of Sherman to Hill County, just north of Waco, Tarrant County to Rockwall. And that's our kind of condensed area. If someone reaches out from another area and we can figure out how to get mammograms down there, we will do that as well.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, when someone reaches out to you and says, I think I might need a mammogram, but I'm only 22 years old,
Mhm.
you'll still support them getting that
We
mammogram?
We have programs in place at Parkland and Methodist, um, of a nurse navigator that they can call, and they can kind of direct them through the system of, let's see what you need. Let's see how to do it, and let's see if we can make this work.
Okay, that's great. On average, how many women are you serving each year?
Last year, we served 560 women. The year before was 600. Our first year, we served a little over 100 people. Um, and so it's, as you can see, it's grown exponentially as the Affordable Care Act has kind of changed. The need has grown as well. And so we fully expect to do another 500 at least this year.
That's great.
Yeah.
And anyone who is watching today, how can they support your organization?
Oh, I love this question. So we do 3 major fundraisers a year, one in February called the Sweetheart Supper, one in June that supports men's breast health, because 1% of the breast cancer diagnoses each year are male. And then our big one in October, which is coming up, October 22nd, is called Busted, because we're all about the double entendre. And that is food, fashion, art, all to support the girls.
I love that.
You can also donate via our website. It's very simple. And on average, because we negotiate the lower Medicare rate, we pay $185 for each screening mammogram that we do. So if $185, you've covered a pair of the girls.
I love that. I'm really glad you brought up men
Mhm.
in particular, because one of my best friends is a male who had to have a screening mammogram done.
He was
And
surprised, wasn't he?
yeah, he was surprised. And thankfully, nothing serious was wrong. But he always tells me, because we're really close friends, and so I'll say, well, today's my mammogram,
Oh, it's squish day.
it's squish day. And he told me that the day he had his, that the mammogram technician told him that she came in specifically to do his because she had never done one before. And she
Amazing.
was fascinated by that. So I know the percentages are quite different
Mhm.
for men and women. But it is something that,
Men
men.
need to be aware of their girls as well,
Yeah, absolutely.
because these are well, they're everyone has them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I want to wrap this up by talking about a huge honor that you received from L'Oreal Paris Women
Yes.
of Worth.
Yes.
And I don't know anybody who has not heard of L'Oreal. We've all heard of L'Oreal, but this is really quite a special honor. So right now we're going to show a video, and then we're going to talk about this honor that you had.
As a 2-time breast cancer survivor, these boots have marched me through every test, every diagnosis, every procedure. I call these my brave red boots. My sisters have all experienced breast cancer as well, and we are still here because of our mammograms. 11% of women in the U.S. are not covered by insurance, which means millions of women don't have access to just simple screening, including screening mammograms. When I was going through my treatments, and you look around the room at the women who are there and you're hearing their stories, and too many of those women waited. They couldn't afford a mammogram. It broke my heart. I decided at that moment I had to do something about it. And so I created the Mammogram Poster Girls. Mammograms are not fun. They can be scary, they can be uncomfortable, but they can save your life.
Come on in, I'll be doing your mammogram.
Mammogram Poster Girls provides free mammograms, biopsies, follow-ups in partnership with local hospitals. Thanks to these mobile mammography units, we are able to provide services all over North Texas.
Breathe.
Many breast cancer nonprofits out there focus on research for a cure, which we're all hoping for. What sets us apart is that we focus solely on early detection. We're trying to create kind of a whole sisterhood of Mammogram Poster Girls.
Had it not been for Mammogram Poster Girls, would I even be here today? She had a vision to save lives. She's my angel on earth.
We truly are saving lives one mammogram at a time.
To sisters.
To sisters.
Watching that gives me the chills and
It's
chokes you up a little bit. How did you get that honor?
so L'Oreal does this program every year, and they choose 10 nonprofit women leaders to honor. My daughter nominated me for this honor, and she didn't tell me she had done it. And later she said, you know, Mom, I did it, and it was really a long form, and I wasn't sure if I was going to finish it. And I was like, thank you for doing that.
Yes.
So the process starts in February. In April, I got a call saying, you've made it to the next round. And they do interviews and photographs and all these questions about what you do and how you do it. And then they narrow it down again. And in early June of that year, this was 2024, they Zoom called and said, you probably know why we're calling. And I'm like, well, I'm hopeful,
Yeah.
but you've been chosen as one of 10. That year, there were over 2,000 nominees nationwide, and they chose 10 of us. And not only do they support your program they write you a $25,000 check. Well, that goes a very long way at $185 a pop.
Yes.
But they also support you by giving you some marketing and PR and exposure nationwide. They flew us to New York. We did all kinds of interviews. They styled us. They feted us. And then in November, they do a gala. You get a +1. That is the only person you can bring because the room is filled with all of these L'Oreal representatives. You've seen them, Helen Mirren and Elle Fanning and all these amazing women. And they showcase each of the 10 nonprofit women, and then we have to speak in front of all these celebrities.
Oh, wow.
And we're introduced by one of the faces of L'Oreal. Mine was Elle Fanning. Yes, she's as beautiful in person as she is on screen, and she was darling. And what I remember about that evening was she was sitting reading her notes, and it made me realize, we're all a little nervous or a lot nervous when we're speaking. And she was nervous about what she was going to say. And so I was like, okay, if she does this professionally, I don't do it professionally. If she can do it, I can do it.
Wow. Well, that's
And
really
the brave
an
red
honor.
boots
Yes, there
marched
they
me
are.
through that as well in my gown with my brave red boots.
I love it. I love it. So you literally, do you wear them every day?
I don't. When I need a boost of confidence, like speaking and being interviewed,
Yeah.
I wear my brave red boots. I'm like, boots don't fail me now.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
If you could give every listener one piece of advice today, what would it be?
One piece of advice. Take care of yourself. Know your body. And have that doggone squishy screening mammogram and go on, because it's much worse to wait. And early detection can save your life.
It's true.
I'm living proof.
You and your sisters,
Yes,
right?
all
That's
of us.
amazing. Yeah. Fantastic. If our listeners would like to learn more about Mammogram Poster Girls, how they could support you financially through donations or take advantage of your services,
Yes.
how can they get in touch with you? I think we're going to show a slide here that
Yes.
has information on how to reach out to you. There's a QR code that you can use to go
Support
right
the
to your
girls. Yes.
Good. I love that. You've got Facebook and Instagram,
Mhm.
email addresses there. I want you to share with our viewers what you told me about that phone number.
That phone number is my personal phone, because I don't want someone who is afraid or who has a question to just get an answering service, or someone who doesn't have skin in the game. So that's my phone number, and I field probably 4 to 5 calls a week, because the information on our website is pretty in depth, and it tells you how to go about it. But I speak to women every week who are afraid or concerned or just need more information.
Sure. It's, it's a scary thing. I mean,
Hmm.
we've all been touched by someone who's had breast cancer. My mother had it twice,
Hmm.
and hers was also detected by mammogram. And so, I've had friends and currently have a friend who is touched by it. So, it's a serious epidemic. It really is. And what you're doing to help women, whether they have insurance or not, but I know you're sort of wanting to help those who are really in need and don't have
Right. The
insurance.
resources.
Right, the resources. What you're doing is amazing. It's so
Thank you.
commendable. And I'm really glad that you took time out of your schedule to be here with me today on the show.
Thank you for letting us share our story.
Yes, absolutely. You're a beautiful woman, and what you're doing is a very beautiful and admirable thing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget to reach out to Sheri and Mammogram Poster Girls if you need support, if you're concerned or have questions. Sheri is going to be there to support you through the process. So that's it for today's show. Thank you so much again for being here, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.